My name is Kurt Gilbertson. I'm a real estate broker and property manager.
My name is Kim Gilbertson, and I'm a speech therapist at Enloe Hospital.
For me, my favorite memories are raising kids. We were in 𝐓𝐴𝐽𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵 for 30 years, and just baseball and soccer, eventually going to church with the kids. And I would say the weather up here has always been, I love the change of seasons. And the people up here have always been great to be a part of as well.
For me, definitely just the small town feel, and raising our children here. This was a perfect place to raise them. They had the opportunity to grow up in a forest, and there were so many activities for them to do. They were involved in sports and growing up and having their cousins around, because our whole family is up here, and so they were raised with going to school with their cousins and having birthday parties at Billy Park and going to the duck pond and going to soccer games from the time they were 4 years old, baseball games, raising them. We've been part of the CMA church and all the events and activities that we had there. So many memories there. And just graduation, and they were both born at Feather River. That's kind of a big deal too. But so many memories, I can't even count them all, so many. In the morning, I usually walk before I would go to work, and so I was out walking at 7:30 in the morning, and the sky was looking not right, so I knew there was a fire. I called my mom, because we were staying with them till our house was done, and I said, you know, there's a fire somewhere. And so she gets on the computer and she goes, oh, don't worry about it. It's in 𝗶𝗺. It's 20 miles away. Don't worry about it. And so I was with my parents, and the neighbors came up and said, you got to get out of here. And I think for my parents, it was like, well, we should be okay. And I thought, no, the sky was starting to turn black. And so we all got into my car, and as we were pulling out of their driveway, the fire was right, it was there. And the whole time, I couldn't get hold of my son because he was here pouring the driveway. I got a hold of my husband, and he said, I can't get out. I think I'm just gonna hunker down in a ditch. And I'm like, what? And he had a truck. And I said, well, if at least grab, because all of our stuff was in his office in storage, and I said, at least grab the file cabinet that has all of our important papers in it. If you don't grab anything else, grab that file cabinet. And he goes, okay, I'll get the file cabinet.
So I was at my office the day of the fire. I got a call, like she said, she called, and so I got the file cabinet in the truck. I ditched the idea about going in the ditch. There was a culvert right by my office that I could hide in there while the fire went over me or something, but decided that wasn't the right idea. And then Jim calls me, my builder, Greenway Builders, a little bit later, and he says we got to go. It's just no way we can stay. So I said, okay, you guys go. And so they took off probably 10:30, I think, somewhere in there. And then about 11 o'clock, close to 11, I looked out on Skyway, and it was just jam-packed all the way. Like I had told her, there's no way for me to, I mean, obviously I could have waited and snuck in line, but I wasn't going to wait in line. That was my idea at that time. So I get in my car. I was part of the Paradise Alliance Church wood ministry, and so I took my chainsaws and my blower, my backpack blower, and the filing cabinet. That's all I took out of my office. I didn't take my computer with all my. Oh, I did take my files. I had my files from my tenants and stuff, which was a godsend because I really needed that.
But nothing else from our house that was there.
No, yeah, the whole office was full of stuff upstairs of our personal property, but I couldn't have got much of that anyways. Wagstaff had fire in the street, it looked like, so I turned down, came the other way, went to Billy Park, saw 10 cars and trucks out in Billy Park. They were just lined up out there, so I could go join them and we could just wait it out there. And I said, oh no, the smoke wouldn't be a good idea with the smoke. So I went over to Castle, to Oliver, and again, there was a line there, and I turned around and drove back to Billy Park, thought about it, and then I came back again, and I said, I got to get in line.
when the fire happened, we were in the process of building a new house here. We were downsizing out of 𝐬𝐴𝐲𝐿, and so we were in transition. We had sold our home in 𝐬𝐴𝐲 3 weeks before the fire and had moved in with my mom and dad. And the day of the fire, my son and my brother-in-law, who was the contractor, and one of his workers, they were actually pouring our driveway on our new house that we were going to move into that following week. And so we have a very unique driveway. We have deer prints and squirrel prints and leaves and all kinds of amazing things in there. Unfortunately, that home burned down. The day after the fire, I felt this strong, pressing, urging that I was being called back to paradise. My husband probably wasn't quite on board yet. So we ended up going in. I went to the town once town hall opened up, found out our permit was still good. Just had to show that our debris was cleaned up, and they issued us an extension on our permit, and we were good to go.
And for me, as far as coming back, she's right off the bat. I wasn't excited about coming back, but I had a lot going on too, because I had 100 properties that I managed, lost 50 of them in the fire, so I had 50 people to get money back to and see how they're doing. I had people needing housing, as we all did in Paradise, so I was just busy as all get out. Didn't even have time to think about moving back up here at that time. So once we got all that settled, and once we got the house started building, yeah, definitely my heart changed to get back up here. And then we started doing 12, 14-hour days between work and working on this house, trying to get it done. And I'm very thankful to the Lord for being back up here in Paradise and enjoying the home now.
When we started rebuilding, and this is just from my perspective, you might think something different. It was frustrating doing the rebuilding process because nobody really knew what to do, because none of this had ever happened. You know, we'd go in and they'd say, oh, well, you need this, but then they wouldn't tell us that we needed something else because they didn't know. Dealing with the water issue and trying to get that all figured out was frustrating, but I have no gripes with the town or with PID because they were learning. They didn't know either. Nothing had ever happened like this to anyone ever before to this magnitude.
Well, the greatest challenge is the labor force. Finding people who are able and willing to build your house. So that's, to me, that's got to be the greatest challenge.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I would say that to come back, you cannot be faint of heart, as I mentioned before, and your love for Paradise needs to be deeper than your fear of living in Paradise. That's probably the biggest thing I would say. If you're fearful to live here, you shouldn't be here. But if you truly love this town, oh my goodness, please come back, because it's still a wonderful place to live. And we have schools, and we have stores, and we have gas stations, and we have restaurants reopening, and Debbie's will be back, and we can have pancakes again.
And we have new houses being built all the time.
Yes, beautiful new houses, hundreds of new houses going up, and friends coming back, and activities are coming back, and our town is growing. And the Thursday night community dinners, amazing. You are able to meet people and rub elbows with people you never met before in the town of Paradise. So you're getting to know more about the people that you live with, and those shared experiences, and the support that you get from all the people that have gone through this together is incredible. I hear people saying, you know, sometimes that have come back, oh, we're lonely. I don't think I have felt lonely one day since I've been up here, because I'm learning to get out there and meet people and talk to more people and get involved in this community again. So I don't feel lonely at all.
Neither do I.
Yeah.